5 minutes. 5 fucking minutes.
Hello out there in internet land. This is episode 20 of the F1 chat for 2020 season 2023. This is race 17 from Qatar. I'm your host, Phil Lamington. Seated to my left is a man who is most happy again. It's JB. JB, how are you, my friend?
This is getting really good. I'm enjoying this. You know, I dreamed of a day where I'd be disappointed if McLaren finished like 5th or something. And now that day is like today.
Well, at the start of the year, we were crapping on the McLarens going, oh, they can barely even get points.
Yeah.
Now, they are podium people every week.
Lando's got 3 podiums on the trot now.
Yeah.
And Oscar's got 2.
Yeah.
And a technical race win to his name.
Yeah.
I don't count sprints, by the way, but he was first across the line, so...
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, this car's come on leaps and bounds since Silverstone.
Since they fixed up all the shortcomings of it.
Yeah. Wow, we figured out all the bad parts of the car. And now suddenly it's good again.
It was just the entire car.
Why didn't I think it was the entire car? It was literally everything. This car has not got an original component on it from the start of the year.
If they had this car the start of the year, this would be a very different championship.
Oh, of course, but you know.
I don't think the constructors would have been wrapped up by now.
No, they would have kept pace. But I mean, we don't know. We don't
that's
know.
right. It's a what if.
I'm enjoying the moment. I am living in the moment, and it has been a good 3 races.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, okay? But you guys being resurgent, even I'm happy that you guys are resurgent. It's kind of like, this is where I didn't want to put words in your mouth, but like Ferrari being resurgent, I bet part of you was just like, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I really was. I've openly said I pined for the 1998, 1999, 2000 days.
Yeah.
Where McLaren and Ferrari were the best 2 teams on the grid, just going hammer and tongs.
But I think part of it is because our teams are the old hands.
Yes.
You know, they are the old enemy. Like, for lack of a better term, it's like a New South Wales Queensland State of Origin rivalry.
Yeah.
Or Ford and Holden.
Yeah, to a degree.
You know, it's...
But we've been around so long, our teams have been around so long that we've seen the waves.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, there's been decades where our teams have been the best teams on the grid.
Well,
and there's been decades where they've languished.
Yeah.
And me as a McLaren fan, we've come through... Don't forget, like, we went through the Honda days first.
Yeah.
Like, we hadn't had won a race since Jenson Button in 2012. And then we went through the entire Honda saga.
Well, even before the Honda saga, there was Mercedes making you guys not the works team anymore. You were just a customer team.
Yeah, which made it difficult.
Then you went to Honda, and it was...
That was a nightmare.
GP2 engine.
Yeah.
Then you went to Renault. That was the start of the climb back.
That was the stability. That was at least the engine reliability. Stabilizing. Then we went back to the Mercedes engine, and then it started coming back good. Daniel Ricciardo got that win at Monza. Lando had that almost win in Sochi. And then this year has been the true resurgence. Last year, I think our best result was, I think we got 4th and 5th in Singapore.
Yeah.
This year, we've been on the podium for the last 3 consecutive races. Lando Norris led the Silverstone Grand Prix for the opening stint. Oscar Piastri's gone and won the sprint race last night, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
It's just it's incredible. Like I was hoping McLaren would resurge. I didn't think it'd be this good.
Yeah.
I didn't think our car would be outright the second best car on the grid. But it is at the moment, so it's absolutely amazing.
And I mean, last episode, you said that I was being a little bit too judgmental towards Mercedes, but the fact of the matter is that while the Mercedes and the Ferrari both have tracks where they're better at it. I think overall the Ferrari is still the better car than the Mercedes. I mean, it's not showing on the constructors, but in terms of the driver lineup, and I think that's the other key of the McLaren's success right now, is the driver lineup.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I'm actually starting to think Oscar Piastri might be giving Lando a run for his money at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean,
in terms of like number one driver status, which I don't think they have, but
it shows two things to me. Number one, that Oscar Piastri was worth the big kerfuffle from last year.
Absolutely.
And I mean, 100%. I said this
100%.
last episode, and Brody was very quick to agree with me, and that Oscar Piastri is a blue chipper.
Yeah.
He is a blue chipper.
He's actually forcing Lando into mistakes.
Yeah.
Lando got his qualifying lap deleted, and he was gutted because he knew that Oscar would be starting ahead of him.
Yeah.
And Lando's openly admitted now that he's making mistakes and, you know, needing to capitalise on them better because he's got a teammate that is going to push him now. He hasn't had a teammate to push him since Carlos Sainz.
And that highlights my second point, which was Daniel Ricciardo really... He does too much smiling and clowning and stuff, and he's very good promotion and salesperson for the sport.
Yeah.
But
he hung his hat in his time at McLaren on that one win at Monza.
Yeah.
Which Lando Norris also almost made obsolete at Sochi.
Yeah.
You know, that's all he hung his hat on. He didn't really give much to the team outside that. Lando always seemed like he had a ton more potential than Daniel. And now Oscar's here. We basically have two Lando Norrises.
Yeah.
And Oscar may damn well be even the more talented of the two, which is a scary thought.
I think Daniel Ricciardo is much like Fernando Alonso in terms of he's got a very limited, narrow window where he can make a car work.
Yeah, if the car's not absolutely perfect to his specifications, he won't make it work.
No.
Whereas Oscar's showing an ability to drive around it.
Yeah.
You know, as seen in Singapore where he didn't have all the upgrades and still drove through the field to 7th. And then showing... And as soon as they were on equal footing, Oscar's been out driving Lando.
Yeah.
Like, he was there in Japan, and as we'll get to, he won the sprint race, and he got P2 in the Grand Prix here. So on equal footing, like, Oscar's actually properly giving Lando a run for his money.
Now, you might be noticing that it's just JB and I talking. It's because Longhorn, again, is away on assignment.
Out in the field.
He should be back next week, though. Should be.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure of his schedule, but...
That's all right. I've got a cattle prod. That's my schedule for him. So, yeah, he's away on assignment. So it's just the old P&J F1 chat days all over again.
Yeah, retro round.
Retro round, except in the future.
Except in the present.
It's back to the future.
That's right.
Great Scott. Right, so there was, at the kickoff of the weekend, was the F1 sprint race. And
yes.
with the results from the F1 sprint race, here's JB. Take it away.
All right, F1 sprint race from Losail International Circuit in Qatar. Lap 1, Oscar Piastri starts from pole position alongside McLaren teammate Lando Norris. Piastri gets the whole shot. George Russell jumps Lando Norris, who then loses out to both Ferraris and Max Verstappen, falling to 6th. Liam Lawson loses the rear of his AlphaTauri and spins into the gravel, triggering a safety car. Lap 3, George Russell elbows his way past Piastri and into the lead. Logan Sargent loses the rear of his Williams and spins into the gravel trap, triggering the second safety car of the sprint. Lap 5, Carlos Sainz tells Ferrari of a misfire in his engine. Ferrari deem it a surge event and it should be okay with a settings change. Lap 9, Max Verstappen passes Charles Leclerc for 4th. Perez passes Pierre Gasly for 10th. Lap 10, Max Verstappen passes Carlos Sainz for 3rd. Lap 11, Oscar Piastri passes George Russell for the lead of the sprint race. As the soft tyre runners begin to struggle, Lando Norris sweeps around the outside of Charles Leclerc for 5th, Sergio Perez and Esteban Ocon collide after savaging Kevin Magnussen, sending them both into the gravel trap and out of the sprint race. Lap 16, Max Verstappen passes George Russell for second. Alex Albon passes Valtteri Bottas for 10th place after starting 17th. Lap 17, Lando Norris passes Charles Leclerc for 6th and Carlos Sainz for 5th within the space of 4 corners. Lap 18, Lewis Hamilton passes Fernando Alonso for 7th. Lap 19, Lando Norris passes George Russell around the outside of turn 1 for 3rd place. Alex Albon passes Alonso for 8th place. Lewis Hamilton passes Carlos Sainz. And Oscar Piastri wins the F1 sprint race from Red Bull's Max Verstappen, who clinches the 2023 World Drivers' Championship, and is his 3rd in succession, with McLaren's Lando Norris coming home in 3rd.
Mercedes' George Russell finished 4th. Lewis Hamilton finished 5th. Carlos Sainz finished 6th. Alex Albon finished 7th. And Fernando Alonso rounded out the top 8 at the end of the sprint race. And then we get to the actual F1 race.
The actual one. The real one. The 2023 Qatar Airlines Qatar Grand Prix from the Sail International Circuit in Qatar. Lap 1. Max Verstappen starts on pole position alongside George Russell. Mercedes teammates Lewis Hamilton and George Russell collide in turn 1. Lewis Hamilton spearing off the track and losing his rear wheel and triggering a safety car. George Russell pits as Lewis Hamilton walks across the track in front of him. Naughty, he would later be fined for it. Lap 4, Bottas, Magnussen, Stroll and Lawson all pit for new tyres, with the mandated maximum laps allowed on fresh tyres set to 18 laps by the FIA, with extreme heat and tyre degradation causing excessive wear to the Pirelli tyres. Lap 6, Nico Hülkenberg passes Yuki Tsunoda for 8th, George Russell passes Sergio Perez for 13th. Nico Hülkenberg is handed a 10-second time penalty for incorrect grid position at the start of the Grand Prix, which was caused by Carlos Sainz's blank grid spot. He didn't start the race because he had a fuel pump failure. Lap 9, George Russell passes Logan Sargent for 11th. Lap 12, Fernando Alonso pits from 3rd place for medium tyres. Liam Lawson is given a 5-second time penalty for track limits. Lap 13, Oscar Piastri pits along with Charles Leclerc for medium tyres. Fernando Alonso passes Charles Leclerc. Lando Norris pits for mediums. Lap 17, Max Verstappen pits from the lead of the Grand Prix for new medium tyres. Alex Albon passes him on the exit to lead the Grand Prix, but Alex Albon pits at the end of the lap. Lap 19, Lando Norris passes Charles Leclerc for 6th. Lap 21, Lando Norris passes Lance Stroll for 5th. Lap 25, Oscar Piastri pits along with Charles Leclerc. Lap 27, Sergio Perez is handed a 5-second time penalty for track limits. Lap 28, Lando Norris pits for medium tyres. McLaren giving him a world record 1.8 second pit stop on the tyre change. Pretty phenomenal. Lap 29, Oscar Piastri passes Alex Albon for 4th. Lap 30, Lando Norris passes Zhou Guanyu for 6th. Lap 33, Fernando Alonso spears off the track and through the dirt at turn 2, but he gets back on okay despite almost hitting Charles Leclerc. Lap 35, Max Verstappen pits for hard tyres but rejoins well clear in the lead of the race. Lap 40, Sergio Perez is given another 5-second time penalty for track limits. Lap 42, Logan Sargent retires from the race through heat stroke in the oppressive conditions. Lap 43, Lance Stroll is handed a 5-second time penalty for track limits. Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc pit. Lap 45, Lando Norris pits for hard tyres. Oscar Piastri just manages to jump him into turn 1. The McLaren's running 2nd and 3rd. Lap 47, Esteban Ocon is handed a 5-second time penalty for track limits. McLaren tell Lando Norris to hold position for a P2, P3 finish. Lap 51, George Russell pits for soft tyres to try and chase down the McLarens and a podium. complete with his visor open to get a breath of fresh air before setting off again. Max Verstappen pits for mediums to charge to the end of the Grand Prix. Lap 54, Pierre Gasly passes Lance Stroll off the track and is told to hand it back, but loses out to Sergio Perez as well, falling to 11th. Lap 56, Pierre Gasly passes Sergio Perez off the track in the same spot. I'm pretty sure he had to hand that back eventually too. And lap 57, Max Verstappen wins the Qatar Grand Prix from the McLaren duo of Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. Max Verstappen gets fastest lap. Oscar Piastri gets driver of the day.
George Russell finishes 4th for Mercedes. Charles Leclerc finishes 5th for Ferrari. Fernando Alonso finishes 6th for Aston Martin. Esteban Ocon finishes 7th for Alpine. Valtteri Bottas finishes 8th in the Alfa Romeo, followed by Zhou Guan Yu in the other Alfa Romeo in 9th, and Sergio Perez finishes 10th for Red Bull.
Wow.
So the first thing to announce is that Max Verstappen is a 3-time world champion.
He is on the list. He equals Senna and Piquet and
Brabham.
Lauda.
Lauda.
Lauda got 4.
No, Lauda got 3.
Yeah, he is on an illustrious
And
list.
Jackie Stewart.
Yes, sir, Jackie Stewart.
And Jack Brabham.
Yeah, he's among the elites now.
Yeah,
He is
so
among the elites.
yeah, he's made it.
Oh, man, we knew the kid had talent from day one.
Oh, yeah.
I remember his drive in Brazil in the rain in 2016. It was absolutely phenomenal. That's when he knew. It's like, holy shit, he drives like Senna. This kid's got talent.
Or, I mean, his first race in a Red Bull.
He wins it, yeah, at Barcelona.
Yeah, because Hamilton and Rosberg took each other out.
Yes. Quite a good day, that one.
Yeah, that was probably the best race of 2016.
Yeah, that was in the midst of the Mercedes dominance.
Yeah.
Ironic as we're talking about Max Verstappen now, but
Yeah.
you know, we'd already had like 5 years of Mercedes dominance, so you know, Max he's got like 3 years grace before we start getting bored of him. Depending on which side of the fence you sit on.
Well, I mean, he's in a great car. He's making it work.
He's the best driver in the best team in the best car.
Yeah.
That's usually how you win world championships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just crash out your opponent.
Well, he hasn't had to.
No.
It's kind of hard to crash your opponent out when they're...
Well,
when the only time you see the back of them is when you're lapping them.
Well, or your closest rival is your teammate, and he's just doing an amazing job of fumbling the ball by himself anyway.
I can't believe he finished 10th after
he-
all the fucking shit.
He actually crossed the finish line in 9th, but he had 10 seconds?
Yeah,
5
10 seconds
10
of
seconds.
penalties at the end. Wow. Well,
And he kept getting told, like, track limits, dude, track limits, dude, track limits, dude. No, he's just in Mexican mode.
he's just making it so easy for Red Bull to boot him.
Yeah.
He's not even trying anymore.
No.
Or maybe he's trying too hard. I don't know what his problem is.
I
Just
think...
all the talent and calmness and finesse he seemed to have, even last year, to an extent, is just gone.
I think Helmut Marko has just put so much pressure on him.
I
That,
think he's just in his own head now, isn't he?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also it doesn't help when you look over and your teammate is Max Verstappen and he's just skating off into the distance.
Well, it shouldn't matter. Ignore Max and just focus on yourself.
Yeah, but it will seep into your brain. There's part of your brain sitting there going, I'm in the same car, why am I not doing that?
That's true. That's true.
You know, it plays on your mind.
Yes.
You know. But Max Verstappen is world champion, and McLaren have hit 500 podiums.
There you go.
Yeah.
500 podiums thanks to Piastri and Lando Norris.
Well, I mean, the first podium was Denny Hulme.
Yes.
The irony of that being that yesterday was also Bathurst. And if anyone who watches Bathurst can remember the year that it was the last year the Skylines were in it. And Jim Richards and Mark Scaife won it
Yes.
on Countback.
On countback, yeah.
And the crowd was booing. And the reason why Jim Richards got upset was because Denny Hulme had passed away the day before. And he dedicated the race to Denny Hulme,
Yeah.
who was first ever New Zealand born F1 world champion.
Mm-hmm.
and the
Certainly
only
was.
one.
Yeah.
And so he passed away, and Jim Richards had dedicated the race to Denny Hall because he was a mate of his. And the crowd just booed the shit out of him, and he went, "Oh, you're all a pack of assholes." But,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, but David Coulthard, 51 podiums. Alain Prost, 63 podiums.
Yeah.
And has the most amount of podiums for McLaren.
Yes.
And Senna, 55 podiums. Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard both have 51 each. Lewis Hamilton and 49.
Yep.
Mika Hakkinen gave the team their 250th.
Certainly did.
Niki Lauda and Alain Prost gave the team their 99th and 100 podiums.
Mm-hmm.
And 400 and 401 was Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, that was an icy year, but, you know.
Yeah. But, and then 500 and 501 was Piastri and Lando Norris.
What a great history of a great team there. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, you know, and that, what a way to celebrate your resurgence with your 500th podium.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super proud of the whole team. The whole team. You know, Piastri and Norris, you know, you said it yourself when we were comparing driver lineups that they had the most potential.
Yep.
And they far and away do.
Yeah.
Now the car's got the potential to match the drivers. That's pretty scary. If they take this car into the winter break and perfect it and bring it out in the wind tunnel, that's theirs now. They don't have to even leave working now. And they drop it in Bahrain next year. This plus whatever. Holy shit.
Yeah.
With Piastri and Norris at the wheel. Holy shit.
Yeah.
We might be challenging Red Bull next year. Properly.
Yeah. Look, I still maintain it'll be a 3-horse race. It'll be Red Bull, it'll be Ferrari, it'll be McLaren.
Yeah.
Mercedes will be the Suzuki of it. They'll just be picking up the scraps.
I still can't agree with you on that. They're too good of a team.
I'll explain my reason a little bit later.
All right.
But overall, what did you think of that race, though?
Different. Mandated pit stops.
Yeah, because
Max
of the
Verstappen
weather.
wasn't a fan of it, but I mean, there was a photo of someone's soft tyre after one sighting lap, and the shoulder of the tyre had already started cracking. And they're like, you don't see this at every other track. Like, Qatar's got high temperatures, a shit ton of corners, high curves. It's a MotoGP track. I don't know why they race here. I really don't. It's a MotoGP track for all intents and purposes.
And it'd been resurfaced.
And it had been resurfaced, so there was less grip than usual anyway. I've not since Silverstone 2013 have I seen a Pirelli tyre just melt like that.
Yeah, I don't think they brought the toughest compounds, though.
I think they made a massive mistake,
Yeah.
and next year they will know to pretty much only run C5s or C1s.
I also think they had it at the wrong time of the year.
Yeah, well, look, Logan Sargent basically passed out in his cockpit almost.
Yeah, and it was Ocon who threw up in his
Ocon
helmet.
spewed as well. And Lando Norris reckons drivers were passing out in the media room.
Yeah, like that's
That's
not
incredible. That's worse than Singapore.
You know, I haven't seen anything like that since Nigel Mansell. The footage of him pushing his car, I think it was at Phoenix,
Yeah.
pushing the car because he ran out of petrol and he just collapsed because there was nothing left to give.
Yeah. Like these guys go to Singapore, they go to Bahrain, they go to Jeddah. They go all over. And I've never seen them struggle this much.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that Formula One's going to have to figure out.
Yeah, because I mean, it's all right getting all these Saudi Arabian countries, Middle Eastern countries that have got all the money
But
to
you
buy
forget,
these
you
races.
forget they live in literal fucking deserts.
Yeah, and it's all right paying for all these races and everything, but these drivers and the pit crews as well,
Yeah.
they have to perform in this environment.
Yeah. Well, you know, if they got so much money, maybe they should start, just making air-conditioned racetracks, huh?
Yeah, indoor
Just
racetrack.
build a big dome over the top of that. I'm sure, and you know what? It sounds pissy, but I'm sure they've got the fucking money to do it.
Oh, yeah.
They could do it to their soccer stadiums. They could build a dome over the Losail circuit, like maybe like an open air dome, and then you could just pump air conditioned.
Well, that could be an additional challenge. Like, have all the walls be really big fans.
It'd be like a Mario Kart track.
Yeah, but, you know, like various tracks here, they complain about the wind direction.
Yeah.
Just have, I don't know, whoever's the race director randomly change the air direction.
Throughout the race.
Throughout the race.
He just like randomly presses a button. It's just like, tailwind, headwind, sidewind. Whoop.
George Russell's on the radio going, who the fuck is doing this?
Boo. Yeah, no, look, they have to sort something out for this race because this has become a very, very apparent issue.
And I mean, Singapore is a hot race. You've been to Singapore.
I've walked through Singapore in the middle of the day. That thing is on the equator. It's 38 degrees, but it's like Mackay. Like, Mackay's hot. Singapore is hot.
Yeah,
We've walked through there in the middle of it's not a fun place to be. In the middle of the day.
Yeah, but it's a dry heat.
It's not a dry heat. It's like breathing in soup. It's very bad. And also, as we figured out for tonight's geography lesson, Qatar is also on the equator.
Yes.
And Qatar is also hot and sticky.
And it's right across the pond from Bahrain.
Yeah, they're on the same side.
Yeah.
Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, they're all there.
And not far away from them is Jeddah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you fix that. I don't know when the coldest month in the Middle East is, probably like December.
Yeah, well, it just realised me. Try
Just
that.
realised me.
Try that
Well
sentence
done.
in English.
English.
Because there was that WWE has their Crown Jewel pay-per-view in Riyadh.
Yeah.
And remember the really abysmal match between Goldberg and The Undertaker?
That was a dream match for me, but I try to forget that match.
Did you know it was still 38 degrees and that match was at midnight their time?
Yeah, because you got two 50-plus-year-olds in there trying to put on an athletic contest.
Yeah, but it was 38 degrees at midnight.
It doesn't get cold. It doesn't get cold, I don't think.
I thought we didn't know what winter felt like.
They don't.
They have. Why would you live there?
I thought, well, maybe it would get cold at some point, but maybe it just doesn't.
No.
Maybe it just doesn't get cold at all in the Middle East. I don't know. Someone, geography, hit us up on X.
Yeah.
Or F1 Chat 1.
Right. So,
A complete lack of knowledge of, like, geography, but, yeah.
all right, so it's time for the key drivers.
All right.
All right, so first one, obviously, Oscar Piastri.
Yes.
An absolute smasher of a weekend.
Wins the sprint race and then P2's the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
What a weekend.
I don't think we need to go any more into that. We've summed it up.
Yeah.
Lando Norris,
Yep.
just an absolute peach of a weekend.
And he got himself a world record pit stop to help him get back in the race.
My next key driver was George Russell.
You know, for the start that he had to that race, he got P4.
Yeah, he did really well. And I mean, he was trying
There
to
was
keep
a case
himself
of
cool.
what could have been.
Yeah.
What if he didn't hit Lewis at the start? Maybe he was on for a podium.
Lewis hit him.
Oh yeah, Lewis hit him. Yes, Lewis actually definitely hit him.
Oh yeah.
But what could have been? He would have been on for a podium.
My next key driver was Charles Leclerc. He drove under the radar, but he made moves happen when he needed to.
Well, he was the only Ferrari in the race, so you know.
That's right.
He
Because
only
Carlos Sainz was out with a fuel pump.
He only had one side of the garage to fuck his strategy up.
And
the
they
whole
didn't do
team,
it.
They didn't fuck his strategy up. He actually they played a nice hand today. Well, I mean, comparatively.
What team was it last race? It was Aston Martin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That completely Ferrari'd their strategy.
Yeah, well, there was no Ferraring of the strategy this week.
No, oddly enough. My next key driver was Zhou Guanyu.
Yeah, well, hey, top tender, and I guess
Yeah.
you could extend that to Valtteri Bottas as well.
He can, yeah. Valtteri was very under the radar.
But he hasn't top 10 for a while. Actually, that
No.
is the first race all year that the Alfa Romeos have scored points in the same race.
Yeah, both
So
cars.
good,
in the,
good,
in the
good for them.
And
Still didn't see any of the tracks, any of them on track.
no,
Actually, no, I did see a little bit.
only when they were getting overtaken by Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari.
More than usual, more than not when they dropped that special livery, and I didn't see them at all.
Yeah.
It's like Alfa Romeo's got that special livery. What race was that? Was that
Monza.
Monza, yeah. They dropped the special livery. I didn't get to see it on track at all because it just didn't show them. But yeah, no, good on Alfa Romeo. Good on Alfa Romeo.
My final key driver, I'm sort of bucking the trend here a little bit, was actually Logan Sargent.
Yeah,
Because
that was a brave effort.
Yeah, to stick it out and even say, like, I'm not well, but I'm willing to keep going.
Yeah.
You know, for me, that showed character.
Oh, we've shat on the dude all year, but you
Yeah.
did correctly say that unlike Mazepin, Logan Sargent wants to be in Formula One.
Yeah.
If that was Nikita Mazepin feeling like that, he probably wouldn't have started the race.
No, Dad would have said, no, you're not driving.
No, driving's too hard.
No,
And he's out there and he's almost in tears because he wants to finish the race.
he could barely get
But
out
he
of the damn
physically
car.
Yeah, they had to physically lift him out of the car. He was exhausted. He was spent.
And you could see the sweat coming out of the helmet and just dripping on the floor.
Yeah, it was horrendous.
You know, that for me is a guy who, though he might not have the best talent, was absolutely wanting to be there.
Well, he gave it everything he physically had. Like, not like physically. To exhaustion, to the point where he couldn't move anymore.
To the point of Mansell.
He didn't want to stop. Like, and God forbid if he had an ounce more strength, he probably would have done another lap or two, but
Yeah.
he gave it everything, so kudos to Logan Sargent. It was really good.
Also, I'm not gonna put him in this category, but I'm just a brief mention to Esteban Ocon, who was also chundering his guts up.
Yes, he came into the weekend with a flu,
Oh,
so he was
jeez.
already feeling like shit. And then, like 15 laps in, he threw his guts up in his helmet too.
And another honourable mention is Lance Stroll's trainer. Because
For copping a shove.
yeah, that I'm sorry, but Lance Stroll's behaviour was just.
That sport rat
pathetic.
territory, that is pathetic.
But he didn't make it into my dumb shit driver list.
Well, he did. I believe he did finish in the top 10. So he made up for it, I believe. I know,
No, he
Alonso
didn't.
did. Oh, no, he didn't. He got pipped, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Spoiled brat.
Well, here we go. Time for voting on the dumbass driver of the race.
Right.
First pick is Pierre Gasly.
Oof.
Track limits, mate. Track limits.
2 identical passes off the track in the same corner.
Yeah.
Oh, man, come on. You're better than that. Actually, I think there was a meme somewhere, and it had all the people who had violated the track limits. And he won. He had like 10 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was clearly doesn't know how to drive between the lines at Qatar.
Do you think that maybe it's a track design fault though?
Yes. This
But-
track and Austria have the same problem.
Yeah, but Austria is a good track. I mean, I'm not
Qatar's
saying
a
this-
good track too.
I'm not
but-
saying this is a bad track, but this is a Herman Tilke disaster piece.
I mean, Austria, the only turn that gets triggered is turn 10, and you're carrying a lot of speed through there anyway.
yeah,
This track, I said it, it's a MotoGP track. I don't know what Formula One's racing here.
yeah.
It's a very tight, twisty, not as bad as Monaco, but it's very much built for motorbikes more than sports cars, I believe.
Right.
It could come down to track design, honestly, because there's been a lot of track limits.
Yeah. All right, my next driver, Sergio Perez.
Yeah, well, look, he crashed out in the sprint race too, so he didn't have a good day.
And just track limits.
Yeah, again, same thing.
What?
Yeah.
How hard is it to keep your car inside the lines?
It must be, it must be harder than it looks. Because a lot of guys did it.
I'll fire up the game at some point this week and I'll find out.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Final guy. Lewis Hamilton. That was a dumb move.
It was a dumb move, and then he went and walked across the track.
That was even dumb move.
While George Russell was coming out of the pit lane. It was pretty dumb, and he got fined for it too, so, pretty dumb.
The one thing about Lewis Hamilton I will give him is at first he tried to make out it wasn't his fault. And then he finally sat down and watched the footage, and I'm pretty sure Toto sent him a text message saying, mate, you're at fault.
Yeah.
Because after the race, he went straight up to George Russell, said, I'm really sorry. They shook hands. No problemo.
Yeah, well, he said in the little press pen after it, too, he's like, yeah, I'll take blame for that one.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Right, so who are you picking out of them three? Unless you've got another name you want to add to the list.
No. I'm back to back at him. Sergio Perez.
I'm going to go Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah. Sergio Perez has just been driving on tilt lately.
Well, because I do actually agree with you, so we'll both go with Sergio Perez. So.
Yeah.
Perez is the winner this week. Takes the Nico Hulk, the Rosberg Trophy.
The Rosberg Trophy. Yeah, no, look, Lewis Hamilton just sandwiched his own teammate. Like, that was entirely Lewis's fault, and he owned up to it. So
Yeah.
I can't dump shit him too much for that. Sergio Perez, I can though. He crashed out in the sprint race, and then had 100 track limits warnings in the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
He's just shat the bed in the worst way.
Yeah, he's not doing himself any favours.
No, he's making it very easy for. He's just making the rhetoric of Helmut Marko and the higher ups at Red Bull who are putting all this pressure on him, just making it so easy for them because he's just proving them right.
Yeah.
Which is sad because he's a good guy and he is a good driver.
And 2021, he was the saviour.
He saved Max Verstappen basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But it just not this year.
I think the song Yesterday's Hero comes to mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, on to the news. And the first news item is that Andretti F1 has been approved by the FIA to join the grid.
Yes.
Hasn't been approved by Formula One management yet, though.
So they have enough. The FIA sees enough on their checklist.
Yep.
They met all the criteria.
Yeah,
Now Formula One has to approve them.
because Rodin Cars,
Yeah.
they applied, they got turned down.
Carlin. I think Rodin Carlin. I think Carlin, the Formula 2 team, was partnering with Rodin as a joint effort. They got scrapped.
There was two other entries as well. They both got completely ignored.
Yeah, they both got scrapped because they didn't meet. It was like a Saudi Arabian team, I think. Which I'm surprised they got scrapped considering that everything Saudi Arabia does, Formula One seems to want to be a part of.
I think because they didn't have any facilities.
Yeah, I think so.
It just came across as like not even Marussia. Like it came across as like Life Moderna or something from the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. We has the Formula One car. Yeah.
Nowhere to test it, nowhere to build it. We have one. We just bought it off eBay.
Yeah, it's a 2021 Mercedes.
Yeah.
So, what I find really funny, though, is that all the teams are cracking up and saying, we don't want Andretti on the grid.
Why?
Well, the best response to it was Lawrence Stroll, who said, I don't know why they're going to be on the grid. They're going to be broke in 2 years.
You reckon?
That's what he reckons.
The FIA would have probably...
If they can come up with $200 million for the anti-dilution fund thing,
Yeah.
clearly they've got the money to be able to do this.
Surely the FIA took that into consideration. It's like, all right, well, you've got the entry fee. What have you got beyond that to sustain yourself for the next however long?
Oh, there goes my notes.
Oh, that's gone well. Surely they checked into all that before they approved them.
Yeah.
You're not just going to say, oh, here's the entry money.
Yeah, it's not being run by Bernie bloody Eccleston,
Yeah,
Max
he's
Mosley.
not going to run it into the ground for the sake of it.
Well, Fred Vasseur from Ferrari, his comment was, I thought we were opening up the floodgates for new teams that were going to bring new engine suppliers. They're not running Cadillac engines. They're going to be running Renault.
So there's not going to be any new engine suppliers? Until Audi comes in, obviously, with their own engine.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I
don't know.
I do agree with
The FIA
Fred,
approved it.
I agree with Fred Vasseur. Like, if they were going to come in, they should have brought Cadillac. If Cadillac's going to be the sponsor,
yeah, they should make the engine, too.
they should make an engine.
Yeah.
But all the other teams are sitting there complaining about we're not going to get as much money and.
Well, if they're starting, if they've approved it and then 24 hours later every team on the grid is bitching about it, they're not going to get in.
Oh, I mean, all the other teams were complaining before it went in.
Yeah, I know.
My big question is, if Andretti didn't get in and one of the other teams get in, would they be complaining?
Yeah, what's the basis on the other teams? Or what if Carl and Roden got in? I'm sure they're going to be running Renault engines too. I think Carlin run. Oh no, I think Formula 2 will run the same engine, don't they?
Yeah, Formula 2 runs Mechachrome.
Yeah.
Which is Renault.
So they just come in with a rebadged Renault engine.
Yeah.
And you'd have the same problem if they're not bringing in a new engine supplier.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what do you want?
Yeah, I mean, who was it? God, I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it might have been Toto Wolff said that I think 10 teams is enough. Any more than that, you're just crowding the pit lane.
And then Lewis Hamilton came out and said, I always thought 20 was too small.
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton's come out and he's like, the more cars, the better.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's more
and then he made it about his whole fucking, it's 2 more spots, for a female driver and something else.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you know what? He's not wrong.
No.
I'd like to see a female driver in Formula 1.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's plenty of talent in the sort of women's division.
Yes.
It's unfortunate I've got to call it a women's division.
Well, but I mean, it's true.
It is, because there is. But I'd like to see them jump into F2.
Well, there's that. I don't even remember her name, but she tested the Aston Martin like last week.
Yeah, oh God, I can't remember.
I don't know her name. I just briefly saw her.
Well, I mean, you had at Bathurst yesterday. You had Simona Di Silvestro.
Yeah, she's been around for a bit.
Yeah, she and she's training for the bobsled team.
Oh wow!
Not for the Australian bobsled team, the Swiss bobsled team.
Yeah, because she's Swiss.
Yeah.
Australia has a bobsled team. Jamaica has a bobsled team.
Yeah, well, I mean, Valtteri Bottas is dating one of our cyclists.
Yeah, he's proper Australian now. Good on him.
Yeah.
Good on him. Yeah, there's always room for more in this sport,
And that's...
We've had 24 cars on the grid in the past.
Yeah.
What was it, 2010? We had Marussia and...
Well, in the 80s, you
Tanner.
had pre-qualifying because you had 26 slots.
Yeah.
And you had 38 cars vying for 26 slots.
It can be done.
So it means you've got pre-qualifying. So whoop-de-doo, it's more people. Or if they buy a 3-day ticket, there's more people watching because you've got pre-qualifying.
Yep.
And this and this and this and this.
Yep. You can have pre-qualifying and then practice and then...
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I do think that Cadillac should be showing up with a power unit.
I think so too.
I mean, like Chevy supplies power units to IndyCar.
If you're going to have a proper American team, then have a proper American engine. Yeah, you're right. Chevrolet do have power units to IndyCar, and they're developing a hybrid one for next year's IndyCar.
Yeah.
That runs, it works differently to the Formula One one. But they're developing a hybrid V6 turbo engine for IndyCar.
I think Christian Horner was the one who came out and said that if Andretti Motorsport, Andretti United, whatever they're called, fails in F1 and has to drop out, he's worried that they're going to lose the American market.
Why?
Because
they've already got Haas there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Haas.
I know.
You know, Andretti is the great white hope.
He's not, though.
I still maintain, look, if it was going to cop this much grief, Andretti should have bought the Alpine F1 team.
If he's copping this much grief, then no one wants him on the F1 grid, then this is as far as his bid's going to go.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Formula One management's going to okay him.
They have to.
They'll be on the grid in 25 and 26.
They have to. Like, this has to be the start of something.
Yeah.
Like, why is everyone so against it? You're getting money.
Oh, it's just, for a lot of the teams like Toto Wolff and Christian Horner, it's professional jealousy. Whereas Fred Vasseur, I think he brought up a legitimate point. Like, if Cadillac wants to be involved, Cadillac should be making an engine.
Yes.
You know, so I think he's got a legitimate viewpoint. Because, I mean, he works for Ferrari. Ferrari, you know, the money's nothing.
Yeah, no, it never has been.
No. Whereas everyone else is complaining about their little piece of the pie. It's, well, whoop-de-doo.
But that
if you're gonna lose,
isn't the $200 million to like
offset
level that out?
Yeah,
the anti-dilution thing.
I mean, James Vowles from Williams, he came out and said, "Look, all the teams are losing money anyway."
Zach Brown's all for Andretti getting in.
Yeah,
probably because he's his mate. Actually, he has shares in Walkinshaw Andretti United, so he is his mate.
Yeah,
but yeah, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? At the end of the day, what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's
You're
right.
going to beat him on the track anyways. Who cares?
I mean, he's fulfilled all the criteria.
What are you honestly worried about? Oh, there's going to be one more grid slot.
Yeah, 2 more cars on the track.
One more garage has to be opened on track day.
I mean,
look how many, like, you see when they come into the pits and they drive past the podium. They come into the pits, they drive past the podium, past the safety cars. There's like 4 empty garages, and then there's the Red Bull Bay.
Yeah.
Like, there's a shitload of room for another garage. A lot.
Yeah.
Like, you're not losing position. You're not losing anything.
They're just making them seem like they're the unwanted person on the train that's taking up a seat. That's absolute bullshit.
Do you want the sport to expand or not? Because it's going to... If this is all we're going to have, the 10 teams, then it's going to stagnate eventually.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Throw a little bit of spice in there.
Yeah.
You know?
Do something different.
Right, speaking of spice in there, the next news item is McLaren is suing Alex Palau.
Yeah.
For $23 million.
Yeah. Because he turned his back on us. Basically, we gave him 2 runs at the Abu Dhabi Young Driver Test in the 2021 McLaren. And I think we gave him a practice session last year. And we invested a whole bunch of shit into him because he was supposed to sign on with Arrow McLaren in IndyCar to become Pato O'Ward's teammate. And at the 11th hour, turned his back and re-signed with Chip Ganassi Racing. So Zach is pissed.
It does sound a little bit Otmar Zafnauer.
Yeah, look, it is the same situation. We gave him a bunch of facilities and testing time. We threw everything at him on the proviso that he was going to sign with Arrow McLaren. So then he took all that we gave him and he turned his back on us. So I don't know. I don't know how far it'll go. I don't know.
Ganassi Racing doing all right this year?
Yes, because Alex Palou is the IndyCar world champion
Oh,
with Chip Ganassi Racing. So,
Oh.
yes, they are doing all right. Alex Palou's IndyCar champ and Chip Ganassi Racing is the number one team in the. So we were gonna lure the champ over to drive alongside Pato O'Ward, so we could become the champs. And he didn't, so now we're salty.
fair enough.
But he does owe us some form of compensation, I think. But McLaren did sign Formula 3 world champion Gabriel Bortoletto, so
Yeah.
another junior to chase.
Next news item is that Marky Marquez.
Jumping sports here.
Because, we've got one of our friends, Jamie, is always complaining about how we don't do any MotoGP on here.
Well, we don't because it's a Formula 1 podcast.
I know.
Although I do mention MotoGP quite a lot because these two sports cross over a shitload.
Yeah.
They race at the same tracks.
Yeah.
Marc Marquez is leaving Repsol Honda after 10 years, 11 years, 8 world championships.
He still has 1 year left on his contract, but he's ending his contract early.
Yeah, it's because the bike's shit.
Yeah.
Basically, the bike tried to kill him in 2020, and it hasn't been good since.
So he's going to a second-tier Ducati team.
He's going to Grassini Ducati, which is the satellite team, not the factory Ducati team. He's going to the satellite Ducati team, which, yeah, I would have preferred if he was going to leave Honda. He'd take Enea Bastianini's seat at the main Ducati team alongside Francesco Bagnaia, but it's not the case. He's going to go race alongside his brother Alex at Grassini Ducati, so I don't know how I feel because Marc Marquez is my guy, but he's my guy because Repsol Honda's my team because of Mick Doohan.
Mick Doohan. Oh, Christ, who was it?
Alex Cribier was there. Danny Pedrosa was there. Nicky Hayden was there. Casey Stoner's gone through there. Valentino Rossi was there.
That's the one I was after.
Valentino Rossi was there for a brief stint.
Wasn't Wayne Gardner there at one point?
Oh, possibly.
I think
That's
so.
good. Yeah, so Repsol Honda's had the cream of the crop go through there. Unfortunately, they just can't create a competitive bike.
I'll tell you a funny little story. So, back in the day, I'm no MotoGP fan by any stretch, but my brother was.
Yes.
He was a big Repsol Honda supporter.
Mm-hmm.
Hated Rossi as soon as he went to Yamaha. He was just like, no.
I was the same.
And
Despised him. He turned his back on Honda.
But this is what really got my brother's ire. So when he was with Repsol Honda, he was a big Rossi fan. I was a big Max Biaggi fan.
Ooh, Mad Max.
Yes.
The Red Baron himself.
Yes, and I purely did it to be spiteful to my brother. But,
He was a good rider, Max. He was dirty. He was good.
well, yeah, him and Rossi did not agree.
No, well, Rossi also, when he was at, he was riding for Yamaha, deliberately crashed out Marc Marquez in Malaysia in 2015 and cost him the world title. So I wasn't a big Rossi fan that year either. But, no, he's right. So yeah, now I'm a little bit torn. Like, Marc Marquez is my guy, but Repsol Honda's my team, so I sort of hope Repsol Honda don't fold. They don't do a Suzuki and just pull out. Because
They won't.
MotoGP is not the same without Repsol Honda. Like, that's just an iconic.
It's
livery.
like Formula One without Ferrari.
Yeah, like you can't do it. You
Yeah.
can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't think they will. It's just a shame that they couldn't fix the bike in time.
Is there still World Superbikes?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
they're mostly all the Suzuki, Kawasaki. I think Ducati's in there too.
Who's in MotoGP? So you got Honda,
Honda,
Yamaha,
Yamaha,
KTM,
Ducati, KTM,
and Aprilia.
and Aprilia. Yes, Suzuki was there, but they pulled out at the start of this year.
You know what they need?
What do they need?
Harley.
Harley. Just rolling around in the big ape hangers.
Anyone tries to overtake them, they just pull out a gun and shoot them.
It's got patches on it. Instead of like race leathers, it's just patches, just Bantino patches.
Big
He's got like an open face helmet, big beard out the side.
And a 12-gauge shotgun.
all these MotoGP bikes with that tag on, they're just like blowing like black smoke out the back of this Harley. That would make it interesting. God, imagine that thing around like Malaysia. You gotta like tip it into turn 1. You gotta tip it into turn 2 down the hill. You're like on its side. You gotta like pick it up and drag it down this hill. It's got the turning circle of a fucking Titanic.
The Titanic didn't turn.
Yeah, well, Harley Davidson's don't either. Yeah, no, that would be hilarious. But no, it's a shame.
You know, in the 80s, Harley did actually make sports bikes.
Yeah, I heard they did. I've never seen one.
Oh, yeah, watch the movie Black Rain with Michael Douglas.
Yeah, right. Do they still make sports bikes? They might.
No.
I don't know.
I know Indian do.
Yes, Indian have great motorcycles.
Indian's owned by they make quad bikes and
like
stuff.
Polaris.
Polaris owns them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Polaris owns them and owned Victory.
Oh, nice.
Victory motorbikes.
Yeah, right.
But they already own Victory, and then they bought Indian, and they shut down Victory and moved everything into Indian.
Yeah, well, the Indian Scout motorcycles are really good.
That's why I think my girlfriend Carol was like, you should go on a mission and get your brother's old Victory motorbike back.
That'd be worth some money.
Well, when he died and we sold it at auction, they sold it for $9,000. It still had $18,000 left owing on it. Because we got a letter a week later from the bank saying we had seven working days to come up with $10,000.
Oh, fuck.
Mum had a meltdown. Thanks, Bank of Queensland.
Yeah.
But we told the solicitor, and the solicitor's straight on the blower going, nah, you're not getting it this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's the story of that bike.
Well,
Someone bought a bargain.
Someone got a bargain, yes.
I mean, you've seen that bike.
Yes, it was brilliant.
It was gorgeous.
I've heard that bike too.
Yeah.
I've heard it, seen it. Yeah, it was a great machine.
So, if you're the person who's got my brother's old Victory, give it back, or I'll hurt you.
I don't think it works like that.
Yes, it does.
Hit us up, the F1 Chat on Facebook, F1 Chat 1 on X.
I'm the one with the brother's bike you used to have. P.O. Box.
Yeah. Here's my address. Come get it, motherfucker. I think he's talking to you. I'm going to sit this one out, I think.
I was going for the Top Gear vibe on that.
Anyone who...
Better than Richard Hammond was. Right. Moving on. Next news item in an extremely small picture.
That's way smaller than the thumbnail.
That's very small thumbnail. Shane Van Gisbergen and Richie Stanaway have won the Bathurst 1000 in the Red Bull Camaro.
I did not give them a chance. I
No.
thought Brock Feeney or Brody Kostecki was going to win Bathurst.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be a Camaro, unfortunately, but yeah, no, well driven by Shane on the day. Just his last stint was brilliant.
Well, he won by 23 seconds.
Yeah, that's the biggest winning margin in like 10 years.
I will say this, though. Bathurst this year was insanely boring.
It was incredibly dull. Yeah, it was. It really was.
And
I made a day of it, though. Like, beers were had. We were at the pub, and then we went to our mate Grabbo's place, me and Barry R. Enchilada. Made a day of it, and the day was great. The race was boring as hell. So I'm just glad our day was not as tame and as placid as Bathurst itself.
I had to play a gig.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Luke wanted to start the gig at 4:30, and I was like, "There's 2 laps to go, mate. It ain't happening."
Yeah.
And we played to no one.
Really? Where were your sales?
Yeah.
On a Sunday on Bathurst Day.
It was so choppy out there.
It was blowing its ass off, to be fair.
Oh, look, it was a great day to take out your yacht.
good day for kites.
Yeah,
It was actually blowy as hell. Because we were watching it at our mate Grubbo's place, and he has like a Collingwood flag, and it was like sideways. Yeah, that is a empty photo of Sales Bar right there.
Yeah, that was...
I can't believe on Bathurst Day, really?
Yeah.
Well, were they just not showing it? Were they not showing the race?
Yeah, they had it on like 5 TVs. There was just no one there because it was too choppy. I mean, my girlfriend had got conjunctivitis from it being so choppy and blowy.
Wow.
Yeah, she had today off from work because she had goo coming out of her eyes.
Yeah, I mean, man, like the Sales, if I had infinite money and could afford $10 schooners, Sales would probably be one of my top 3 places I'd watch Bathurst at.
Yeah, but it was so choppy that...
I mean, yeah, it was blowing a hurricane.
Like I had a can of Coke on the table outside.
Yeah.
I was watching one of the inside TVs. It was blowing so badly, kind of like that dude on the scooter going by.
I hope that's a dude on a scooter and not a Cessna about to crash land at the airport.
No, mate, this isn't the Cannonball Run. If you haven't seen that movie, watch it. It's hilarious.
It's a good movie.
It was blowing my can of Coke off the table.
I assume this can of Coke had liquid in it.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was moving it.
No, I mean, an empty can of Coke, that's not very impressive, but a full one, yeah, that's...
Yeah, I just
decent.
cracked it, put it there, and it's sitting there going...
Yeah, it was a proper lowy day, to be fair. But still, what? Really?
Yeah, there was no one there.
Bathurst Day, it was a clear day, it wasn't even raining, like, it was a clear day.
Oh, no, it was cloudy.
Oh, it was passing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, it was a shocker.
Yeah, wow. I'm genuinely surprised.
But the thing that really made... For me, there was 2 things wrong with Bathurst. The first thing was no parity with the Ford cars.
Yeah, despite the complaints.
And the second thing was there was a whole bunch of cars driving around that had a fucking Chevy badge on them and not a fucking Holden Lion on them.
Unfortunately, that's the world we live in now.
And you know what's worse is that Camaros, they're only making Camaros for another 2 years and then they're going the way of the dinosaur.
Yeah, well, what's Chevrolet going to replace them with? They're going to have to replace them with something. You can't drive Camaros if it's not a production car anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, God, and Chevrolet probably...
Because the Camaro's going to be all electric.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, Chevrolet's gone the way of the electric, I know that much. What are you going to do? Petrol-powered Mustangs versus electric fucking Camaros. They'd be good with the instant torque, but their pit stops would be 4 hours long. Oi, can you unplug your phone charger? We need to box Shane. We need to box Brody Kostecki for a fucking a supercharge. It's going to take 30 minutes.
What's his name? Murphy?
Greg Murphy, yeah.
See him sitting in the pit box. 5 minutes. 5 fucking minutes.
Pulls his car up on the big charging pad, like what my Samsung's got. The big charging pad. 5 minutes. 5 fucking minutes.
Oh, he's had a bit of a moment here. That's the one thing I took away from Bathurst. There was one accident, and you heard Neil Crompton say, "Oh, he's had a big moment there," or no, he's had big impact.
Oh yeah, that was James Moffat in Cam Waters' Monster Mustang, the car I was cheering for, putting it in defence at the Dipper.
Yeah,
oh wow, he's had large impact here.
Yeah, that's a big impact there.
It was a big impact.
And then they showed the replay another 3 times. Yeah, that's a really big impact. Yes, we get it.
Yeah, I know, we saw it.
It's a big impact.
How do you think he broke his suspension? He just gently tapped the wheel.
He failed the Petter's suspension test.
Yeah, well. He actually got it back to the pit lane, but couldn't turn it into the pit lane. So they had to get the tow truck and drag him down the pit lane.
And 2 cars had to overtake him going into the pit lane.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But aside from that, no, it was a very bland Bathurst.
Yeah.
Probably the most exciting thing was Shane Van Gisbergen's epic burnout at the end.
or listening to the commentators talk about, whoa, and he's had a big moment there.
I know
That's a huge impact.
I know I was like sort of fading in and out with the commentary, but Neil Crompton didn't seem so bad this year.
He nearly missed out on doing commentary this year.
Yeah, because he had a flu.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been. Maybe Mark Scaife should get the flu next year.
Oh, look, I prefer him over Neil Crompton. I love when they put up on the bottom of the screen, like the commentators, it's Neil Crompton, 2-time podium finisher.
Yeah, they didn't win it.
Mark Scaife, 6-time winner.
Yeah, there's levels here.
Oh, look, I did watch a whole bunch of highlights going into it. By Christ, I miss Matthew White's commentary.
Yes, Matthew White's a legendary commentator. What's he doing these days?
Who's the commentator for IndyCar?
Lee Diffie.
Lee Diffie. I miss him too.
Yeah, Lee Diffie was great too.
You know
and
what?
Greg Rust.
You know what? We should go and do commentary for them.
For Bathurst or IndyCar?
Bathurst.
We did say we could live stream it one day and just do our own commentary.
Yeah, just overdub it.
That'd be a long day. And we'd have to
We'd have to get teams in. It'd be like the cricket.
Yeah. We'll get the first 20 laps and the last 20 laps, the exciting bit. You guys do the middle stint when nothing fucking happens. You can tell me about the kangaroo, when I'm having a nap.
It was a big moment.
It was a big impact.
It was a big impact. He's failed his Petter's 40-point suspension test.
Do that. Me and you will do the first 20 and the last 20. We'll get Barry and Longhorn to do the middle stint when nothing's happening. Oh, they're conserving tyres and fuel. Yeah, that sounds great.
Oh, they're changing the brake discs.
Oh, they're changing. Oh, you get to do the brake disc commentary.
That's got him. Oh, he's out. Piss off, you're out.
Changing the brake pad. Ooh, riveting. Riveting.
Ooh. I will say this, though. I think it's time that Craig Lowndes gave it up.
Yeah.
He is well past his prime now, and he I know that he broke the gear
yeah, that wasn't
frame,
his fault. He was coming through the field, though.
but, yeah, no.
But his second stint wasn't great.
No. Right, moving right along. 2026 regs could look like wheelbase of cars could be trimmed back by 20 centimetres from 3,600 mil to 3,400 mil.
It's a lot of numbers.
The width of cars reduced by 10 centimetres from 2,000 mil to 1,900 mil. Moved to 16-inch wheels, but we've only just put 18-inch wheels on.
What were they before this? 14s?
13.
Yeah, all right.
And a 50-kilo weight reduction target has been set.
Yeah, these cars are heavy as fuck, to be fair.
Well, I've come up with a brilliant way we can reduce the weight. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, sure.
Right. Bring the fuel bladder down to 50 kilo and bring back refueling.
Yay!
Yay!
Win-win situation.
Ding, 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 ding.
That'll never happen. Also, they're making the engine with more electric capacity in 2026, which just means they're going to need more batteries, which is going to make the car heavier. Batteries are heavier than, fuel and shit.
Yeah.
Where are you saving the 50 kilos exactly? I know they are going to make the fuel cells, smaller.
Oh, okay.
It's supposed to be going down to 70 kilos instead of 100 kilos.
I'd like to know where they're going to put the USB charging port.
They're going to have the pad. They're going to have
Hook
the
it up to the sky pad.
Yeah, they're going to have the charging pad. What if there's a blackout at the track and the charging cable doesn't work? Oh, no. What are we going to do now?
It's okay. I've got mine on my phone. It's one of those charging brick things.
Yeah. Yeah, power pack.
Yeah, power pack.
You just hook the power pack up. Drive for a lap. You just watch the bar. It's just like, oh, yeah. I guess it really is only for phone charging. Doesn't power a Formula 1 car for long.
Someone's got a laptop. Just use the USB out of the laptop.
For God's sake.
I'm running out of battery on my laptop.
Yeah, look, so basically they're making the car smaller, which is very much needed. 16-inch wheels, why?
Yeah, I don't get
The
that.
8-inch wheels seem to be fine.
They need 20-inch rims.
24, 22-inch rims.
It needs to be 500 horsepower.
22-inch
and
rims.
magnesium parts.
We'll get exhibit and the boys from Pimp My Ride to like put like
Put a massive stereo in the back.
put TV screens on the mud flaps for no reason.
Or have a chocolate fountain in the car.
Fondue. A cheese and 4 different types of cheeses in my fountain. Yeah.
Christ.
I mean, why? Like 8-inch, they seem to be fine. Smaller cars probably required, as long as you can keep the main goal of the dirty air down, so you can still follow the car in front.
Well, I think they need to make the cars smaller so that Monaco can be a
Well,
spectacle again.
They did say next year's F2 cars, the way they look, is the way they want the F1 cars to look.
Yeah?
More compact, but they got like that higher rear wing.
Yeah.
How like Formula Ones, their sort of slopes up, but the F2 one's like really high. I think that's how they're gonna reshape the 2026 car.
I think, though, just looking at old photos, 2007's aero packages were the best-looking aero packages on a Formula One car.
Yeah, but do you know how much dirty air that generated?
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit!
It wasn't
There's
dirty. It wasn't dirty enough for Kimi Räikkönen to win the championship, though. Yeah.
What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about. I was talking about 2005.
No, I was talking
The
about
2005 McLaren is still probably the prettiest car. And we never got around to doing the mid-season episode, but that was on my photo list.
Yeah.
Still probably one of the prettiest cars ever made, that thing. Almost won the championship, but not quite.
But speaking of move to 16-inch wheels, Pirelli is going to be the tyre supplier until 2028.
Yeah, unchallenged. But Pirelli are leaving the World Rally Championship.
Yeah.
They've ended their tender with WRC, but they're extending with Formula One. Which is weird.
Apparently, Michelin put in a tender for the F1 tyres, but they said they didn't want to be the sole tyre supplier.
I'm surprised Bridgestone didn't.
I think they did as well, but they didn't want to be a sole tyre supplier.
Then bring back the tyre war. Bring back the tyre war. It's right there.
Well, I mean, I think it was in the 90s we had 3 different tyre suppliers.
Yeah.
We had Bridgestone, Goodyear, and Dunlop, I think.
Yeah, well, Dunlop make good tyres.
Yeah. But
I got a set of Kumos on my car, but it doesn't matter.
because Goodyear was supplying tyres to Ferrari.
Goodyear was supplying tyres all through the 70s and 80s too.
Yeah.
Like, all the shots of James Hunt's McLaren are Goodyear tyres.
Yeah.
And I think they might have been on Ayrton's car too. Possibly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, yeah.
Right.
Don't know. We'll see when we get there.
Right, so we're going to move along. We're not going to do the racing strategy this week because we don't have Longhorn.
We don't have a strategy.
So there's no strategy.
We don't think. You don't think? Not at this stage. We don't think.
So we're going to move right along to the driver's standings. Now, F1 on their social media has been nice enough to not put up the driver's standings.
I'm wondering if there's like late penalties. Oh, there they are.
Oh, well, that means the photo I've got here...
Do you know how long ago they put that up? 14 minutes ago.
Jesus.
The race was over 24 hours ago.
God, their social media squad sucks. Well, I'll show you the photo of what was supposed to go up.
Yeah.
But the actual correct photo will go up. But this is what the photo was supposed to be.
You can still put that up on YouTube if you want. You might get us in a bit of trouble, but it's alright.
You're not seeing anything.
Nothing much.
Right, so fucking hell.
That's bad.
Drivers' standings for 2023. So Max Verstappen is your world champion on 433 points. Second place is Sergio Perez on 224 points. Third place is Lewis Hamilton with 194 points. Fourth place is Fernando Alonso with 183 points. Fifth place is Carlos Sainz with 153 points. Sixth place is Charles Leclerc with 145 points. Seventh is Lando Norris with 136 points. Eighth is George Russell with 132 points. From fifth to eighth is stretched out by just over 21 points.
Yep.
Ninth place is Oscar Piastri with 83 points. 10th place is Lance Stroll with 47 points.
He's still there.
He hasn't scored a point in forever, and he's still in the top 10.
He was injured in Singapore and didn't even race.
And I mean, this race he was too busy killing his trainer.
Yeah.
And I've actually done the full 22. So in 11th place is Pierre Gasly on 46 points. 12th is Esteban Ocon on 44 points. 13th is Alex Albon on 23 points. 14th is Valtteri Bottas with 10. 15th is Nico Hulkenberg with 9. 16th is Zhou Guanyu with 6. Tied for 17th is Yuki Tsunoda and Kevin Magnussen with 2. 19th is Liam Lawson with 2 points. And then 20, 21, and 22 is Sogan Largent, DNF. 21st is Nick De Vries. And 22nd, rounding out the top 22, is Daniel Ricciardo.
Two of those drivers, Logan Sargent, DNF.
Yeah.
Two of those drivers are AlphaTauri rejects, so...
Yeah.
Although Daniel Ricciardo is supposed to be back in Austin.
Yeah.
So that's
Right.
probably the end of Liam Lawson's run, actually.
Yeah, it's a shame too.
He's done all right.
Yeah. The team standings, Red Bull Racing have secured the constructors with 657 points. Mercedes is second with 326 points. Ferrari is in third with 298 points. Aston Martin is in fourth with 230 points. McLaren,
We're going to get him.
McLaren in fifth with 219. Alpine is in sixth with 90. Williams is in seventh with 23. Alfa Romeo is bumped up to eighth with 16. Haas is in ninth with 12. And AlphaTauri is bringing up the rear with 5.
Williams is going to be peeking over their shoulders a little bit now.
Yeah, well.
After that finish. Aston Martin, we are going to hunt them down. We've still
Like an asshole.
We've still got 6 races to catch them too.
Yeah, I think you guys will get them.
I reckon we're going to get 4th.
I think, though, Williams will fight off Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, I think so.
The big question is, will Ferrari catch Mercedes? It's doable.
Yeah, well, I mean, but Mercedes was... Sorry, I just knocked the microphone.
Jesus!
Yeah, I was scratching my nose and missed.
How do you miss scratching
I was
your nose?
knuckling the side of my nose and I missed.
You knucklehead.
I still think the Mercedes...
Did you have a huge moment?
had eye impact.
You had a big impact.
Yeah, big impact. I still think the Mercedes is the more consistent car than the Ferrari.
Look, I think that Ferrari would have scored more points if Carlos Sainz had a working car. That
Yeah,
was
but
in the
George
race.
Russell still finished ahead of
Yeah.
Charles Leclerc, despite having to change his front wing on the first lap.
Oh, look, Ferrari knew that they couldn't get the tyres to last.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, especially at Qatar. Well, I mean, Austin's not that much kinder on tyres either.
No.
Not
No.
with the fucking
The-
Silverstone knockoff first actor.
The telling point will be Mexico. The thinner air. See whose engine works better.
McLaren's going to win that race.
Well, if they're running Mercedes engine and the Mercedes is struggling, they're going to struggle too.
No.
Oh, jeez.
Fuck it, I'm having a Barry Crocker. You know what? It's time to move on to the socials and end this, I think.
You're just shitting all over my shit. Jesus,
It's been a
Christ, I
terrible-
can't take you anywhere.
It's been a terrible 3 minutes.
God damn it. Right, well, social medias. So we've got, you can catch us on YouTube, on the F1 Chat, on Vindicator 18 channel, and also the F1 Chat -1. Don't forget the one.
The dedicated YouTube channel.
Dedicated YouTube channel. You can find us on Facebook, the F1 Chat. You can find us on X, the F1 Chat 1.
Don't forget the one.
Don't forget the one. You can find us on Rumble, the F1 Chat. And you can find us on the Spotify, the F1 Chat.
Yeah.
Right. We're back again next week. Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
Should be interesting.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to watch the race, after work like we do, because it's going to
Yep.
be one of those 2 a.m. dealios, but...
Yeah. And then Mexico, I think that finishes around the same time that we actually start work in the morning.
Yeah, you actually get to catch the last, 5 laps at work.
Woohoo.
I probably will actually get up and watch that.
I actually do like the Mexican F1 though. I like the track
I
itself.
love the track. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, particularly that year where you pipped me.
Just
I was chasing you down
like an asshole.
like an asshole.
Yeah, it was a good race. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So thank you for tuning in this week. It was a little bit rambly and a little bit chaotic, but we got there in the end.
Yeah.
We will see you next week after Qatar. On behalf of JB and myself and the missing Longhorn, thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week. Until then, it is goodbye.